Okay, so number 4 says, which type of transformation is illustrated in the diagram? All right, so we got to figure out, is this a turn, a flip, or a slide? I would say it's not a slide. I don't think it looks like a flip either, so I'm going to go ahead and say that this is a rotation. Okay. And then we try to be as specific as we can. However, they didn't use primes, so you're going to understand why it's important to use primes. I don't know which triangle we started with. Okay, if we started with this triangle here, and rotations go the same way the quadrants go, which is counterclockwise, I would say that that's a rotation of 90 degrees. Okay, it's 1/4 turn. Okay? However, if it's this triangle we started with, then it would have to turn into this quadrant, turn into this quadrant, and then turn into this one. And you'll notice that was 3 times. So 3/90 is 270 degrees. Okay, and if you put 270 with 90, that makes 360. You're going around in a circle. Okay, so we're not sure what triangle we started with since they didn't use primes. And so all we can really say is that it's a rotation around the origin of, I would say 90, well, yeah, 90 degrees or 270 degrees, okay, depending on what triangle we started with. Okay, let's take a look at number 5. It says that the image was the result of more than one transformation of the pre-image. Name the transformations that you can use to get from the pre-image to the image, and then graph the intermediate image. So we got to take a look. Which one are we starting with? We're starting with this blue triangle. Okay? And the first thing I notice is that it looks like it's pointing down, whereas the other triangle is pointing up. So I'm wondering if we should flip it so that it would be pointing up instead. So if I think about how to flip something, and we haven't really done this in class yet, but we're going to do it right now, so give you a little insight about what we're going to do on line reflection day. Okay, so notice, guys, A is below the x-axis, 1, 2, 3 units. So I'm going to flip him above the x-axis, 1, 2, 3 units. And I'm going to call that A prime. Okay, notice B is 2 units above the x-axis, so he's going to go 2 units below the x-axis. Okay. C is also 2 units above the x-axis, so he's going to go 2 units below the x-axis. Okay, and there's going to be my new triangle. I'm going to not use the straight edge tool just because it's kind of a pain. But there's my intermediate image, if you can call that. All right, so my very first thing that I did was I did a reflection over the x-axis. Okay, now I got to figure out what I have to do next in order to get that triangle that I just graphed onto that final image. Okay, and I think you guys can see that all you have to do is push them in the right direction, and that's a slide or a translation. Remember that in a translation, we have to give the left and right movement first. So write down translation before we forget what we did. And I'm going to go ahead and say that this point here needs to be slid to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces. So it's a translation of 8 to the left. Okay. And now we're going to go either slide them up or down. And remember, we were at A prime and we have to get it to A double prime. So we're going to slide it up 1, 2 units. So 8 to the left and 2 up. And you could check each point to make sure that it's the same, but it should be. Okay. And so that is finished. And we graphed the intermediate image already. Okay. So it was a reflection of the x-axis and then followed by a translation of 8 left and 2 up. Okay. Good, guys. How about number 6? It says that the image was the result of more than one transformation of the pre-image. Quadrilateral bike and golf are graphed on the set of axes below. Describe the 2 transformations that maps quadrilateral bike onto quadrilateral golf. So bike is our original, also known as the pre-image. That was easy to tell in the last one because they used primes. In this one, they didn't use primes, okay? It's also going to be hard to figure out, does B go onto L or does B go onto G? So you have to be careful. And we've done this one before where you use the letters to kind of indicate. So notice B is the first letter, G is the first letter. So B is going to go onto G. Okay, I is the second letter, so is O. K is the third letter, so is L. E is the fourth letter, and so is F. So you can see what letters go onto what. So remember, B has to get onto G. And if you see that, B needs to flip on over to get onto G. So I believe the first thing I'm going to do is a reflection. What are we going to flip over? Well, it's the easiest to flip over is the axis. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say that E is 1, 2, 3, 4 units away from the y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4 units away. We'll put E prime right here. Okay, B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units over. We'll put B prime here. Okay. K is only 2 units away, so K will only go 2 units to the other side. And I is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and that'll be I prime. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try to connect these the best I can. Okay, and I'm also going to jot down what we reflected over before we forget. So it's a reflection over the y-axis. That's what we flipped over. Okay, and now we got to figure out the second thing. Okay, and then again, if you notice that, remember B is going to go on to G, I is going to go on to O, that K is going to go on to L, and that E is going to go on to F. All this quadrilateral does or needs is to be slid up, I think, right? If he goes straight up, all the right letters are going to fall on the letters they're supposed to. So this is going to be a translation. What's weird about this translation is that you don't have to move any left or right. Okay, all we have to do is push it up, but how many? So in order for B to go on to G, we have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this will be a translation of 5 up. Okay, real quick, guys, that translation would be written like this, a capital T, 5 up. So the first number talks about left and right, and since we didn't go any left and right, we would have put a 0 there. 5 up is a positive direction, and so we would put a 5. All right, just in case you're wondering how to notate that because of the no left or right movement. Okay, and those are the two transformations that would get those quadrilaterals onto each other. Okay, all right, guys, hopefully that helps. Good luck in your homework, and I will see you later.